Young and the Restless, spoilers shock. Genoa City had been void of new life for quite some time. It seemed like ages since the last newborn had graced this small, bustling town, leaving a palpable emptiness in its wake. However, the tides were about to turn. The show's producers, aware of the need for fresh energy and a compelling twist, decided it was time to introduce a new chapter filled with unexpected complications and emotional entanglement. A tangled web of emotions. In the heart of Genoa City, two women found themselves caught in the orbit of Adam Newman, a man whose charisma and enigmatic nature made him both irresistible and dangerous. Sally Spectra, vibrant and ambitious designer, and Chelsea Lawson, a cunning and determined woman with a shared history with Adam, were both ensnared in the whirlwind of his affections. Although both women had complicated feelings for Adam, their motivations differed. Sally was genuinely enamored with him, believing in his capacity for change and yearning for a future together. Chelsea, on the other hand, had a deeper, more tumultuous connection. She was the mother of his son, Connor, who was struggling with obsessive-compulsive disorder, OCD, and her feelings were a mix of love, resentment, and a desire to rekindle a family that had once felt whole. Billy Abbott, the perpetual wild card in this emotional game, found himself in the midst of this tangled mess, not as a leading man, but as a pawn. Billy had always been a complex figure in Genoa City, grappling with his own demons and yearning for a sense of purpose. His involvement with Sally and Chelsea had been more out of convenience than genuine affection. He played along in this emotional charade, serving as a temporary distraction for both women as they wrestled with their unresolved feelings for Adam. But being used as a mere tool was not something Billy could tolerate for long. His pride and sense of self-worth wouldn't allow it. He was no one's second choice. The unexpected twist. Life in Genoa City took an unexpected turn when both Sally and Chelsea began to experience strange symptoms. They were overcome with nausea, feeling ill at the mere sight of food, and were particularly sensitive to the smell of ice cream. These symptoms, all too familiar, hinted at a significant change: pregnancy. The revelation hit like a storm, sending shockwaves through the tight-knit community. The timing, the emotions, and the implications were overwhelming, not just for the women but for Adam and Billy as well. It soon became clear that both Sally and Chelsea were pregnant, and the complications only grew from there. Adam, the father of both unborn children, was thrust into a predicament that would challenge his ability to navigate the complex web of relationships he had spun. The news left Billy with mixed emotions. He felt a strange sense of relief and disappointment simultaneously. On one hand, he was relieved not to be the father of children with women he didn't truly love, and whose loyalty he could never fully trust. On the other hand, he was saddened by the realization that Sally and Chelsea had both chosen Adam over him. A stark reminder of his own failings and the choices that led him to this point. Adam's dilemma. For Adam, the situation was even more complex. He was at the center of a dramatic triangle that demanded an immediate decision, one that could alter the course of his life and the lives of those around him. On one side was Sally, the woman who represented hope and a future filled with possibility. She saw the good in him, the potential for redemption that he so desperately sought. On the other side was Chelsea, the mother of his child and a constant reminder of his past mistakes and the family he could have had. Connor, his son with Chelsea, added another layer of complexity to Adam's dilemma. Connor was struggling with OCD, a condition that required stability and care, two things that were in short supply in Adam's tumultuous life. Chelsea, for all her flaws, was a good mother, and her connection to Connor could not be easily dismissed. She was integral to Connor's life and well-being, and by extension, to Adam's sense of duty and responsibility as a father. Adam knew that he could not have it all. He could not split himself between two women, two families, and still maintain any semblance of sanity or stability. He had to choose, and the choice was not just about love, but about responsibility, duty, and the kind of man he wanted to be. The calculated decision. As Adam pondered his options, he realized that his decision would have far-reaching consequences. Choosing Sally would mean pursuing a future filled with love, growth, and the potential for a fresh start. But it would also mean turning his back on Chelsea, and potentially jeopardizing his relationship with Connor, who needed his parents to be a united front more than ever. Choosing Chelsea, however, would be a nod to his past, a commitment to making amends and being present for his son. But it would also mean sacrificing the possibility of a new beginning with Sally, the woman who had shown him a different kind of love, one that was not tainted by their shared history and mistakes. Adam knew he needed to be strategic, not just for his sake, but for everyone involved. He decided to take a step back from both women temporarily, to reflect on what was truly important. He sought advice from trusted friends and family, weighing their insights carefully. He also spent time with Connor, trying to understand what his son needed from him and how his decision would impact the young boy's life. A moment of truth. After days of soul-searching and contemplation, Adam made his decision. He realized that he needed to prioritize his son's well-being above all else. Connor's mental health and emotional stability were paramount, and Adam knew that a fractured family dynamic would only exacerbate his son's struggles. With a heavy heart, Adam chose to commit to Chelsea, at least for the time being, to provide the stability that Connor so desperately needed. He approached Sally with honesty and sincerity, explaining his decision and the reasons behind it. Sally, though heartbroken, understood. She appreciated Adam's transparency and his willingness to put his son first. It was a painful but necessary step, and she respected him for it, even as she grieved the loss of the future she had envisioned for them. Adam's conversation with Chelsea was equally difficult. He acknowledged their complicated history and the mistakes they had both made, but he also emphasized the importance of working together for Connor's sake, to provide him with a stable and supportive environment. Chelsea, though initially wary, agreed. She knew that this was their chance to rebuild, not just for themselves but for their son. A new chapter begins. With Adam's decision made, a new chapter began in Genoa City. The pregnancies of Sally and Chelsea marked a turning point. Chance for growth and transformation, not just for them, but for everyone involved. Adam's choice to prioritize his son's needs over his own desires demonstrated a newfound maturity and sense of responsibility. It was a decision that, while painful, showed that he was capable of change, capable of becoming the man he wanted to be. Sally, though devastated, found strength in her resilience. She chose to focus on her career and her own personal growth, determined to build a life for herself and her child. She knew that her journey was just beginning, and she was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Chelsea, too, embraced this new beginning. She recognized the opportunity to mend her relationship with Adam and to provide a loving and stable environment for their children. It was not the path she had envisioned, but it was one that held promise and hope. As for Billy, he found a sense of closure in Adam's decision. It allowed him to step back from the drama and focus on his own path, free from the emotional entanglements that had kept him tethered to a life he no longer wanted. He knew that this was his chance to start anew, to find purpose and meaning beyond the chaos of Genoa City. And so, life in Genoa City continued, ever-changing and unpredictable. The arrival of two new lives brought with it a sense of renewal and hope, a reminder that even in the most tangled of webs, there was always the possibility of a fresh start and a brighter future.